Hey everyone, it's Jody from Bird Dog Off Road Adventures.
And I'm Evan from the Adventures of Rogers and Henderson, minus my better half this evening.
Oh yeah,
And
definitely the better half.
she is the better half.
Awesome, awesome. So we may have somebody join us here soon. They're just on their way home from work, but I just wanted to say hi to everybody and check in. If you have any comments or questions, please make sure you hit the comment section,
And
live
check
chat
in.
below,
If you have any
so that way we can answer any questions you guys may have, um, and that sort of thing. So. Getting close to Bronco Palooza, Evan, only 4 weeks away.
No.
Yeah, looking forward to coming in and seeing everybody. Just so people know, I'm not going to be driving in because that's 3 days of driving each way, and I don't have the PTO yet to do that. So I'll be flying in on Friday and then flying back out on Sunday. But it'll be nice to see everybody again, and see what everybody's up to, see what everybody's done to their Broncos and their rigs, and catch up with Brian and his crew up at Hamblock. Good people.
Well, now that you're not going to have your Bronco there, maybe I can take my trophy back.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. I don't know. Vasher might compete for you if he enters in.
I didn't think about that. Thanks for raining on my parade, Jody.
Just make sure that you don't give him a card.
Right. Oh, sorry. We ran out of registration cards. Sorry about that.
Well, since I don't have my Bronco, I can be an impartial judge if y'all need one. So just know that. No, it'll be a fun time, guys. If I don't know, I'm sure most of y'all probably have seen the videos that Evan and myself have created from last year's event. Very, very fun time. We had over 140 cars last year, and we anticipate more this year. We also expanded to 2 days, with the second day being, your choice if you want to do a trip over to Badlands Off-Road Park in Attica, Indiana, or if you want to do it's like a cruise, over to Galena, which is over the west side of Iowa, or sorry, Iowa, Illinois, west
Right
side.
on the Iowa border.
Yeah. So, and it's a very scenic drive. I've done that drive before a few years ago in the Forerunner, and it's very scenic. Now, you're not going to have to use four-wheel drive for that, but it's definitely if hardcore off-road is not your thing, by all means, go check it out. Network with your fellow Bronco lovers and have a nice lunch over in Galena. If you've never been to Galena, it's a cute little town. It's not a tourist trap. It's not like a Pigeon Forge type deal or something like that, to where it's wall to wall tourists and t-shirt shops and everything else. So it's a nice, quiet town, but it's very scenic, very beautiful. So if that's more your speed, definitely recommend that. Our friend Kim is going to be leading that, and and she'll have a good time. Hopefully, she won't overheat any older Broncos this time. Last Supercell, she was leading the tour, and I was in the back, and I think people sometimes forget these classic Broncos don't have overdrive, and having the cruise control like 70, 75 miles an hour just ain't going to cut it. So I'd like, hey, slow down. You're going to have people overheating on the side of the road if you don't.
Right.
But yeah, it's a lot of two tracks. That road that she's taken, a lot of two tracks. Very scenic. Out in the country. So definitely, it'd be worth going if your schedule allows. And of course, Badlands is Badlands. If you want to know what Badlands is about, go over to Adventures of Rogers and Henderson. They got a ton of videos from over there, and it never fails to impress. They can, if you're looking to get stuck or you're looking to break something, definitely Evan could probably point you in the right direction. Definitely. But no, seriously, if you're looking just get out this wheel, test your rig out, no pressure. You don't have to do anything you're not comfortable with. It's a good time. It's a controlled environment. So if you do have issues, there's plenty of people there to pull you out or winch you out if you need to. If you're not sure about something, there'll be plenty of people there to spot you. And so forth. So just know that, if, you'll be there with a bunch of people. So somebody will be able to help you out most likely.
Well, and there's plenty of spots too where it may look challenging when you pull up on it, but there's a lot of places where I feel like to take people who've never been and get their feet wet, and they kind of impress themselves by what they can do on some of the. Like I said, it more looks scary when you're pulling up to it, but once you're up on it, you can kind of get a feel for your rig a little easier, and you get some seat time and make everybody feel a little more comfortable too.
Nice.
But if you've been to Badlands before but not super recently, they did a lot of changes to the park to make the Ultra 4 course work. So if you're saying, well, I've been there a couple times and I'm just kind of bored with it, well, they've changed a lot of stuff around. So
yeah, I noticed in your last video that was pretty neat. They put a lot of effort. I was very impressed. I had no idea it was to that extent.
Yeah, they did. They changed a lot.
Well, I mean, that's good for them. I mean, it's going to draw more people there. I'm sure if they plan on doing that annually, it's going to be probably one of the must events for the Midwest, at least.
Yeah. So they had done Ultra 4 events there before, like 2014, 2017. I think 2019 they had one, but it wasn't the same course length. It was much shorter, and they expanded it out to go from one end of the park back to the other. So it ended up being like a 9-mile course. But yeah, as far as I know, they plan to have Ultra 4 there as one of their regular scheduled regional events every year from here on out. So that's cool. Debating to try and go out and film the Ultra 4 Nationals. I think it's in was it Oklahoma? But I don't know. I was so impressed watching those guys. I kind of want to go see like when all the. I'm trying to find the schedule just a second.
Yeah, there's an event up in Wisconsin. It's up on the northern side part of Wisconsin. I think it starts with a C, but I can't remember. Kansas. Crandon, that's it. Yeah, so I know Lauren Hilly and Vaughn Gittin Jr. go up there. So definitely, it's a thing. It's real popular right now. So,
Davis, Oklahoma, in October, middle of October, the Ultra 4 Nationals. So all the people who've been busting their butts all season to get those points. They'll be racing for the top seed money. So you see all the expensive rigs out there for that one.
Nice. Well, plus too, not everybody has the time and the money to go to King of Hammers way out in California. So, this is a nice event. Now that's very popular. I know Cole Bailey. He was at the Chicago Auto Show. I met him briefly and his Bronco that he ran in King of Hammers. So there's a lot of that stuff out west, but it's good to see. Some of these events in the East, in the Midwest, and the East States. So people don't have to plan a whole 2-week vacation just to go see some of these cars run. Because very impressive. Let's see if we're able to get turn Dolly into a Rally 4 car and give her a whirl.
I'm waiting for her response.
I'm waiting for her to. I'm just see the daggers in her eyes. I don't even have to see. I feel it, sense it. But just some quick updates as we wait for some people to come in here. For those of you who follow me, I know that you all probably saw where we had all of our stuff done here recently. Right now, we're just trying to break those gears in. I'm about 200 miles in and a 500-mile break in, so. Get that done, and then we'll start hitting some trails. I was telling Evan before we came on the air here that one of my friends, good friend of mine from Chicago area, or they used to actually live in Rockford, not far from you guys, Lars and Carlson and Shayla, they moved to Colorado last summer outside of Denver, and I think they were up in the Sedona area a couple of months back, and they bought one of those Fun Treks books, which I've never had one of those. I know some of my friends have. Because I mostly just rely on Onyx or Gaia, but they're not down here a lot. So because it's about a day's drive from Denver to Sedona, and so she just she hit me up on Instagram or Facebook and said, "Hey, what's your address?" And I was like, so I gave it to her, and I thought she was just going to send me like a card or a sticker or something, but she sent me that book. So I've been doing some research, trying to figure out what trails are north of here, far enough north of here to get out of this 110, 115, 120 degree heat here for the next couple months. Put that thing to use, get it good and broke in before we go to the Rubicon.
Yeah. You say Lars Carlson?
Yeah. He had a fabrication shop up there out in the Rockford area.
Yeah. When we got back from Windrock last year, I was hell bent on doing a solid axle swap on the front. He was one of the names that was recommended to me to reach out for fabbing the front end work.
Yeah. Yeah, he's mainly a Toyota guy. I think he's got a couple of Chevys too, though. I met him at the Core event, which Sandy Pope throws, same person that throws the Overland the Red event. And at Core, he was in our group the first year I was there. And he had this big old Chevy Suburban. He was the only Chevrolet. The rest of us were all 4Runners and a couple of Jeeps. And on the mic, we always referred to him as Heavy Chevy because that thing was huge. And
he had that Chevy in a magazine, I think. Or was it in SEMA?
I don't know. That part I don't know. But we went through a wooded old logging area. And sorry, the dogs are aggravating. We went to an old logging area and bless his heart, they hit a damn hit a branch, hit their oil pan or their oil filter on a branch and tore it off. So we had to park it and had to go run to the auto parts store up there for him. We towed him out of the trail part of the wooded area. One of the guys with the Gladiator pulled him out to where at least get him out where they could work on it. But yeah, his nickname was always Heavy Chevy. There, but him and his wife, they have I think some 4Runners. They have a bunch of cars. That's what he does for a living, as far as the fabrication. Does real good quality work. From what I'll say.
Yeah, he came highly recommended. Known for putting some custom suspension on vehicles that would normally have death wobble, and you can drive with one finger down the highway at 80 miles an hour.
Ooh, that's nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a good thing to segue into. What do you think about this pictures going around of these guys? And let's see here. We'll add old Milton in here. Milton, can you hear us, buddy?
I can hear you this time.
What's going on,
man? Thank God he's alive.
I got a whole new camera, a whole new mic this time. Here we go.
Awesome, man. So those of you who don't know Milton, Milton's got a great YouTube channel as well, Bareback Broncos. Very cool guy. We made him down at Supercell. Talked to him online quite a bit with Instagram and Facebook. But yeah, Milton's got a pretty nice, sweet setup, guys. Check him out if you didn't already subscribe to him. Check him out for sure.
Yeah, so, we definitely appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think we were fixing. Sorry, I got two children here that won't quit playing. No. So anyway, I was actually about to bring up the solid axle swap Bronco that everybody's talking about that has the Godzilla motor in it. So
I did see that, the blue one.
Yeah.
So Eric had been working on that for a while, and
I know working on the Coyote.
No, he skipped right over the Coyote and went for the 7.3 because it has a smaller, it takes up less space in the engine bay than the Coyote engine does.
Yeah.
It's heavier a little bit, but it takes up, there's more, the Coyote takes up way too much engine bay. Mm-hmm. But the big difference is there was another guy that was working on the Coyote swap, and I mean, they got the motor into the car, but getting the electronics to work was a no-go. But, I mean, I was talking to Eric. I mean, this was 6 months ago. He's got pretty much all the mapping ready to go for the ECU.
Oh, nice.
I wonder what he's going to do with the throttle body, because the throttle body and the air intake on that 7.3, it angles straight up, where a lot of the air intakes and the throttle bodies, like on a Coyote, comes off to the side. So, on the 4th and 5th gens where they're sticking those 7.3s in, it's a massive like JLT intercooler. So it'll be interesting to see what he does with that, how he routes it, and then what they're going to have to do to the hood. Definitely a cowl would probably have to be on that for sure.
Yeah, or custom something.
Right.
But, I mean, the numbers on the 7.3, I mean, power-wise, are just about perfect for rock crawling. I mean, just give you all the power it's got, just a little bit off of what idle would be.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Just hammer it,
Yeah, I'd say after a couple of years, if they get this thing tuned right, they're going to have like a kit out, all encompassing, everything you need, turnkey. And I'm sure some other people will come out with some copycat versions of it. So,
Right.
Well,
By the time-
I mean,
yeah,
you remember at Supercell,
yeah. Sorry.
you remember at Supercell all those chassis with the Coyotes and the Whipples. They had some 7.3 chassis there, rolling chassis. I think what you're going to see if that happens is guys will be buying chassis off of Coparts or whatnot, modifying them and building a roller, and then just taking off everything on your current Bronco and swapping it right over.
Yeah, I mean, you can get a brand new frame from Ford for like $2,700.
Yeah, I'm thinking by the time, since we all got 2021, by the time our motors get ready to be rebuilt, they'll have that thing figured out, and we can just all pay somebody or do it ourselves.
Well, Lauren Healy's swapping one of his Broncos too, so they're racing right now.
Yeah.
Well, is that? Yeah, I saw the post he made. So is that his and not this other one?
Yeah, there's two different 7.3 Broncos in the works at the moment.
Oh, interesting.
I saw the blue one.
Yeah, that's the one I think everybody's been posting like on 6G and
Right.
So the blue one has that solid axle swap.
Yeah.
And as far as I know, the one Lauren Healy is doing it is that full 74 weld, but their long travel suspension with the 74 rack, the 74 weld portals. And then they're, as far as I know, they're both running that 10-speed R140 out of the Super Duties, which is supposed to be bulletproof.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember I read something about that too. Yeah, they're going to have to beef them up for sure. But see, the thing about Lauren, though, is they've got connections with Ford. So I'm sure if anybody can pull it off, they probably.
Well, if you want to sweet talk the electronics engineer into passing you along the gateway for the code in the computer, that's the best. He's got the best in, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and at that point, should you just go ahead and buy the Bronco R? I mean, if you're going to buy that type of rig, that cost is going to be in that Bronco R territory.
Yeah, because how much does that short block, or how much does that engine cost? I wonder.
It's cheap. You can get the engine and trains for about $16,000. Engine, trains, and ECU is like $16,000.
It's not bad. I mean, it's not cheap. It's not bad. I was thinking you were going to say $30,000 or $40,000.
No, you can get the 7.3 with engine harness, trans, and trans module for less than just what the Coyote long block is.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So a buddy of ours, he bought a wrecked van, a work van that had a 7.3 in it. He took the transmission out and he put it in a 68 F100. And I think he paid less than 10 for that, but that's used. That's not a brand new.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just thinking, maybe in a few years, once our Broncos start hitting 100, I mean, we don't have Toyotas, so those things are eventually they're going to have to be overhauled or whatever. I'm just wondering.
As much as you're driving and I'm driving, that's going to be in like less than 3 years. I already got 60,000 on mine. Which I'm nervous.
I'm hovering right at under 50. I've got about 450 miles to go, and I'll hit the big 50. So right now, my mileage matches my age, 49.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, hopefully at some point I'll have a daily driver. I won't have to drive it every day. But right now, my commute's only like not even 10 miles each way, so it's not putting a lot of miles on. That's the only bad thing is it's taking me longer to break the gears in. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. What did they say the mileage is to break the gears in?
Everything I looked at and the paper that Deutsche Off-Road gave me all says 500. So the basics of, and this is pretty universal with very few variations. If you look at Yukon's website or Revolutions or any of these shops, most of them will tell you that you need to have 2 to 3 heat cycles when you first drive it, to where basically you don't go over 45 miles an hour and you just drive it for about 15, 20 minutes, stop, let it cool off, and then do that at least 2 times, maybe 3. And then after that, you're only supposed to, some places say don't go over 65 until you get to 500. But after that, you just drive it. They don't recommend taking long road trips or towing or serious off-roading, anything that would put stress on it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where you probably want to, just kind of do. That's like I'm doing right now. Right now, I'm just doing my normal everyday driving because I don't hit a freeway. I did hit a freeway over the weekend. I went and got some stuff, and but right now it's mainly like anywhere from 45 to 55 miles an hour every day for that commute. So I think it's pretty safe. And they also want to say, the guy Todd told me that you also want to have a little variation. You don't want to be at a constant speed all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And there again, my commute's not a freeway, so I have red lights and I have stops and turns and stuff. So I think it's going to be pretty good. I just want to be on the safe side, and then I want to change the oil after watching Evan's video on how to do it. So guys, if you ever want to know how to change your gear oil, Evan's got a good video for it. So
yeah, there's a part I specifically like.
oh yeah, what was the word again? Is it
Glorious?
glorious?
Glorious.
You know what's the sad part is that whenever you said that, I could smell this shit.
Yeah, I knew exactly what.
Okay, so
happened.
spirit of full disclosure, that Pyrex dish of gear oil is still in the garage.
Oh,
And so when we were moving the stuff around the garage, I had to make it easier on myself. I didn't want to spill any of it, right? So I have this little 4-wheel moving dolly, and I had the Pyrex dish centered on the 4-wheel moving dolly, so that when I drained it all in there, I could nice and gently roll the Pyrex dish out from underneath the Bronco, and I moved it off to the side. And I found a nice safe spot underneath Courtney's photography wagon to keep it so that, it wasn't get bumped into anything. And I
until
completely
that new puppy knocks it over.
No. So I completely forgot it was under her wagon. Next thing you know, I hear her yelling my name with some 4-letter words because she went to move her photography wagon and it splashed gear oil on her foot.
Oh,
Oh, so
I'd say those new wheels are coming sooner than those likes.
sooner than I'd like, yeah. So it still smells, and it's every bit of 90 degrees and 100% humidity out there. So it smells fantastic in the garage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that new FDU that I had when I had it sitting out here, it leaked a little bit. It still had a ton in it because you could see it through the little cap. And the cap that Ford puts on the end right there for the driver's side is kind of transparent almost, so you could see the gear oil up against it when you lay it flat. But but some of it seeped out in the garage here, and even now I can still smell it a little bit.
And that was new, right?
Yeah, it's brand new, but it still stinks.
But that was I'm wondering if they ran a break-in cycle in the factory.
Oh, I don't know, but I know that. Of course, Todd and them at Deutsch, they had to take it, get it aligned, and he took it down the street and ran it up over some railroad tracks. There's an area he said that where the railroad tracks are not far from their shop, to where it had a lot of articulation, kind of like a short, small hill that you could like fully flex on. That's how he knew the fuel skid plate was touching the drive shaft. So that's how he found out, which I'm glad he did. Right. So, yeah, and I don't know if you haven't put your fuel skid on yet, have you, Evan?
No, I was waiting. So one of the things that I didn't do myself, but I needed done before I put them on, the full skid plate system on, was the diff fluid change and the front diff fluid and the transfer case. I wanted that stuff changed out before I put it on. So that was just done by Ford. So now, once it actually isn't like an oven out in the garage, I'm going to get to putting those skid plates on.
So the transfer case, I'm assuming, does it use the same gear oil as the rear housing and front housing, or is it different?
No, the front is different even than what the rear is, if I remember correctly. Okay. Same. You can use the Motor Craft or whatever synthetic stuff, but it was a slightly different weight, I believe.
Oh, that's something else you'll hear in a lot of gear break-ins is not to use synthetic because it gets hotter until you break it in. Now, if you break it in, have at it. But they do say that for the first 500 miles, don't use synthetic. Plus, you're going to be dumping it anyway, so
right,
extra money.
Well, the weird part is the weight that's recommended for the rear anyway I mean, from all that I saw, the only way you can even get the weight that they want you to run is to get synthetic. I couldn't even find conventional that was the matching weight.
Huh. Interesting. I don't know what Deutsch used. Because they had to fill it up there because I didn't buy any girls. Yeah, so I don't know what they used. I asked Todd if he had any recommendations, but I don't think he's gotten back to me yet on that.
So that weight is based off of the Ford service interval, not assuming that you've changed out your gears through a dealer anyway. So I mean that weight could be different based on your gearing selection. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, the good thing, the ring and pinion and the front drive unit, they're all Ford Performance, so
Right.
they shouldn't be able to be too mean to me if I ask them to do it.
Were you getting just different shifts when you had your other rear end gear in there? What made you want to do the change?
Well, the 30-inch tall tires, they're fine, like driving around Chicago, and they did pretty well going through Kentucky and Tennessee. I could tell, like going down 75 there in Kentucky, it would shift down more. Not much, not enough to barely even know. You probably wouldn't even notice it if you weren't paying attention. It wasn't nothing like the 4Runner was when I put those 34s on it and it had 373s. That thing was horrible.
Mm-hmm.
But last year when I came out here to Colorado, driving through the mountains out in Colorado, I could tell a big difference because of the altitude and the grades were a lot steeper. So I was like, well, I'm living out west now. And plus with that rock crawler kit, they're going to have to drop the rear end out anyway. And I was just like, you know what? 2 birds, 1 stone. Let's just knock it all out. You know, Evan can kind of tell you this. I had lots of conversations offline about it, and I was like, if we're going to be in there doing all that other crap, go ahead and knock it out. Because normally I probably wouldn't have done that, or I definitely wouldn't have probably got the Yukon rear gears or rear axles as well. I was like, well, hell, since we're in there, we're having to do that stuff. Why not go ahead and knock it out? We're going to be hitting the Rubicon here in a couple months, and go ahead and knock it out. We'll keep the stock stuff for spares, and go that way. I mean, it was probably overkill, no doubt. But I look at it as like, since it's there, it's just an opportunity to present itself. I don't necessarily think people need to go that far. But I just did it because it was there. Plus, like I said, I have a set of spares. So like, way if I break mine, or if one of my friends, wink, Evan breaks his, we can just I'll put them up in the Rome box on the roof.
We're definitely bringing those spare rear shafts with for sure.
Well, I'm bringing the spare rear shafts. I'm bringing the spare
CVs
axles. I've still got those
tie rods.
Well, the only tie rods I'm going to have, because those Icons, I'm selling them with the steering unit.
I'll have 2 sets.
Yeah, but I've got a set of stock ones that had the Brockbuster braces on them, but because I lived in Illinois when I had them, the damn things seized on there.
Different kinds of metal.
Yeah, they said
and the salt too. I just had to. I just got an alignment on my Bronco a couple weeks ago, and I've had them off quite a bit, but it's just the rain, the salt, and the different sand mixtures. So we had to heat mine up and basically torch them off. But I just went and got a tap and then retapped and put new stainless hardware and stuff in them. But we just went wheeling Saturday. It got pretty interesting pretty quickly.
Yeah, I heard I heard you might have had a little off-camera moments there.
That was about the first time in my life I thought about shit myself. And I used to ride bulls, and I'm pretty good about adrenaline and keeping my composure, but that one was, I was like, okay, here we go. And it was like in slow motion. And I was lucky to have a couple of people push me back over. So it was
you out with Eric and them, or was this?
Yeah, we had about 25 Broncos. It was on Fincastle. I don't know if you've been out there, but since the summit, they've been taking bulldozers out there. They're cleaning the paths up. When you did spas, do you remember where like the one creek washout was? It was like real narrow. You had to like hug over. Well, they redirected that whole entire path. It's much higher from the creek now. Well, the ground is like super soft again because they dug up all that rock and silt. So those 37s started to bite, and then the Bronco just was up on the Fincastle Big Rock on one side, and then the tent was much higher than the center of the load, and it just started coming over.
Did you happen to see what your pitch roll or your roll was on your dash?
Last time, well, when I started to look at it, it was like 28 or 30.
Shit.
And, you know, I was still climbing. I was almost to the top of the rock where your front end starts to come down. So I was like, it's going to come down. I've done this plenty of times.
Yeah.
But the rear locker just kept biting, and it just kept going more vertical and then over. And I was like, here it goes. It was just going to lay over on the rocks. But we pushed it over and just kept wheeling.
You say you got video of it?
Someone does. I think Eric's got it. He said he was going to send it to me.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I think I ever will with him when I was over there. I met him a few times at Supercell the year before and this past year. Of course,
Yeah.
we have German short-haired pointers, so
Yeah.
he got to meet Molly, and he loved her to death.
Yeah, Eric had both of his girls with him, and you know they run around the trail. They're great dogs. Everybody loves them. They never get in the way, you know, but they're just part of his crew, and
Absolutely.
everybody accepts them. You know, we did Pumpkin, Spas, Fincastle, and we were gonna go to Hard 11, but it was getting too late.
Yeah, when I was down there, I think we did Fincastle, we did Sinking Creek, which it was fun. It wasn't like too bad. And then
well, you did Spas at night.
Yeah. Well, we did what's the other creek? Damn it, you just said it a few seconds ago.
Swells Creek.
Spas Creek. Yeah, we did that during the day, and then we went back and did a night run on it. The night run was funner, in my opinion. And then we did the Pumpkin Hollow, which I didn't think Pumpkin Hollow was that great. I think we went up the wrong way because we went from the south north, where normally I think you're supposed to go the other way. I think it would have been funner if we went the right way, so to speak.
Yeah, there's a lot of challenging vertical climbs there where you have to step up on these rock ledges. But yeah, if you went the other way, you probably only had one climb, and then it was pretty much just kind of ruts. But there's so many different paths out there that you can take on that trail.
Yeah.
We got to get Evan out there.
Is that part of the Kentucky Adventure Trail?
Well,
Yeah.
it's the Daniel Boone Backcountry Byway, which is kind of, I don't think it's technically part of the CAD, is it? Or
it is. You can access the eastern part of it, and then you come out. You would go through like Jellicoe Mountain in Tennessee, and then when you come out of that, you would come up on the bottom side of the Daniel Boone.
Because I had just watched a video the other day, guy doing that Hard 11 trail.
Oh yeah, I did that.
The big boulder and the mud pit on the one side.
The boulder's on the right, and as you're approaching down, you kind of got to get your driver's side up on the left. You could either drive over the boulder and then put your passenger side high up on the wall and then kind of come down. But most people will just do the off camber and then go around it. But it's always extremely wet and muddy because it's part of a creek system, so it's always wet. But it's a lot of fun.
About a tail light breaker.
Yeah.
That one spot's real sketchy. Milton, is that part, where you're driving and where that creek bed washed out and it's like a huge chunk of the damn road. That was the scariest part for me on that trail, is because, I don't know how a Raptor could make it through there, but, I remember my Bronco felt like it was like on the cusp. I had to pull my passenger side wind mirror in to keep from hitting the tree on the passenger side. And I had the cameras on. I remember the driver's side, I was like literally an inch or two from falling off.
Yeah.
And it's like where it's almost like a rock slide type deal where the mud just kind of,
it is.
It kind of like moons to where you're driving. and like part of what you're driving on doesn't have anything under it, and it's
There's
like
nothing under it. Oh, well, at the summit, they had an off-road event down there 2 weeks ago, I think it was. Eric was there. 2 vehicles rolled at that place that you're talking about. They rolled off into the creek. I think it was a pickup truck and then a Jeep, a 4-door Jeep rolled there. The ground was just washing out and it was just getting so bad. But now what they've done is when you would come around that bend and you would make that approach, they've widened it. They've taken that rock ledge off the passenger side, and then they took the creek bed and then filled up to the road. But I think it'll be good for a while. But there's so much traffic on that trail. Like every time I've gone, we've not been the only one on the trail. You know what I mean? Like somebody's either always coming or going. You're gonna touch mirrors with somebody out there. It's that tight when they come by.
Yeah, it was raining real bad that day. That's why we didn't film anything. And we went down where all that kudzu is. And I tried to go up, and I got maybe a quarter of the way up, and then I started sliding backward. That was my wheels were spinning all four. It was just like no control whatsoever. But thank God there were grooves that kept me in line.
Yeah.
Have you ever done?
Get Courtney and Evan out there?
Oh, Evan would love it. I don't know if Courtney would or not. She might like be like another Windrock for her.
Yeah. Well, the commentary alone would be worth Courtney coming out.
Oh, absolutely. Just put her in the back seat.
Then you could camp at Callie's, which is a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, they have great pizza. And at Miguel's has really good pizza.
Mm-hmm.
We went to some brewery there.
Hops.
It might have been. There was a brewery there. It's like you're sitting on a hillside. And you have like a panoramic view.
And
we went in October during Overland the Red, so it was all the tree foliage was up.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place out there for sure.
Yeah, Evan, that might be a good side route after you get done at Stampede.
Yeah. Are you going to the Stampede?
Tentatively, yeah. We have a cabin booked. The idea is that we'll be in the Next Venture Motorsports booth.
Oh, cool.
Is the plan. Assuming
we'll be down there. We're supposed to be with ID Speed Shop, but I don't know. We're gonna see. And then,
did you go last year?
Yeah.
How many Broncos did they have there?
I don't want to bash the show because it was new, but last year, about after an hour or two, I was bored. I mean, there wasn't a lot of vendors in there. It's the vendors that you see everywhere, the lights and, I think Rockcrawler was there. He had a red 4-door in the back, right, Jody?
Oh, I wasn't there. I don't know.
Oh, you weren't there? Okay, yeah, they were there. RCV Axles was there. Fittipaldi was there, but they were prepared for Jeep Week, which was the following week, so they brought no wheel patterns that matched the Bronco. Havoc bumpers were there. I mean, they had a few good vendors, but I mean, it was just after an hour or two, you pretty much saw everything.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of those things. It's a brand new event. You got to get black for the first couple of years. I mean, that's like Supercell Wisconsin. It struggled the first couple of years, but I think they had 100 vehicles there this past time. So hopefully,
just a couple of weekends ago.
Yeah, like last weekend, I believe, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing about like Stampede is the location too. Like the traffic was insane. I mean, there was like Broncos getting in wrecks because you can't pull out in the intersections. I think there was like a first gen that got hit in the axle, and his like rear end axle was out in the middle of the road. It was just, I don't know, it was kind of chaotic. It was a little stressful.
Yeah, I grew up in that area. Pigeon Forge is horrible traffic. The one good thing about Supercell, Evan, it's farther out in Townsend. And if you want to avoid any tourist stuff, you just stay either in Townsend or stay over in Maryville, which ironically is where the new Bronco Off-Rodeo is going to be, which Maryville is right between Townsend and the Knoxville Airport, which is south of Knoxville. And you don't have all the touristy stuff to deal with. It's just a normal American suburb. And, plenty of things to do as far as dinner, eat and drink, and stuff like that. But you don't have to deal with all the we call them Turons. The frequent pigeon forage. I remember when I was a kid, though, we used to love going there in the rod runs, and God, we'd sit there. It'd take 2-3 hours just to get from one side of pigeon forage to the other. But people,
you're not staying in that tent, that new tent on top of the Bronco.
Yeah.
No, not for this. We're gonna have it's our anniversary weekend, so
okay, it's very romantic in a tent. It's very.
I got a very romantic cabin with a hot tub.
There you go.
Hey, that place I stayed at, for Townsend had a hot tub.
Yeah,
for the campground.
Yeah, they I can't remember, but one of their sponsor events that you can rent like tree houses and stuff like that, but one of their cabins. Courtney says she's a very high maintenance wife.
I've seen that. Yeah. My wife's very bougie too. She's gonna be with me. We're gonna have my 3 kids are actually going this time, so that's gonna be fun. I think we're staying at that water park hotel at the end of where the event is. So I'll probably be at the event most of the day, and then they're gonna hang out at the hotel and go to the water park.
Well, one thing that we're gonna make sure when we went down, we went to Gatlinburg in 2021. So it was the August right before we got the 2-door Bronco. But the Ripley's Believe It or Not aquarium there is badass.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to make sure to take her there. We like going to aquariums.
Yeah, that's a nice aquarium. A couple months ago, they had a big flood down there. Did you guys see that, where they were asking everybody to like evacuate the area and all the sirens were going off? It was pretty crazy because I thought that convention center was going to get flooded out.
I didn't see that.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like a couple of weeks right before Bronco Supercell.
Oh, wow. I remember back in a long time ago, there was a big fire out there in Gatlinburg, and there were a lot of people saying that the aquarium was in jeopardy. Thank God it didn't, though. Yeah, I went to that when I still lived there. It's been there for a little while, and
yeah,
it's very nice. That's just one I've ever been to by far. Not that I'm a big aquarium aficionado or anything.
We tried.
I thought the aquarium in Chicago was really nice.
It's fine. It's overpriced.
Isn't everything's overpriced?
Yeah, but like you pay so much, and then like I don't know. Every time we've been to that one, it's like it's super crowded, and you end up like frustrated and not stopping to actually look at all the things. Like when we went to the one in Gatlinburg, the one in St. Louis at the Union Station is really nice too. But like it's not super packed, so you can like go in there and actually enjoy it for like a quarter of the price of what the Shed Aquarium is in Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, awesome. So any big, well, I know let's talk about Stampede, but Milton, you got any big events or any big mods coming up for your rig?
Today I installed the Custom Interiors new seats. They turned out awesome. I had some Maybet seats in there before. They were the brown and black leather covers, which is like a leatherette material, but these custom branded interior seats are actually a premium leather. They're black with like a double helix stitch in them. They look pretty good.
Yeah,
and then,
looks really sharp.
Do what?
The picture you posted looks really sharp.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, and it wasn't too bad of an install. It took me about 45 minutes to put everything in, so that was good. We just picked up FXH wheels. They're made by Forge Line. So we put those on the 37s, which this weekend was like the real first weekend I've used them on the trail, and it's a big improvement over the 35s. But we're going to be going to Evan and Courtney's deal up in Chicago for sure. I got the time off for that. We're going to be going to Stampede and then Supercell East, and then that's pretty much it for my year.
Yeah. Anything you'll ever venture out this way?
I'm planning on it next year because I'll have more vacation time,
Yeah.
and then I can definitely meet up with you. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, because even if it's not here in Arizona, even if you want to meet up like Colorado or Moab
Yeah.
or something, it's not that
Yeah,
far.
Central Kentucky Broncos, Eric and John Carson's group are planning on going out that way next October, I think, and I'm supposed to be going with them on that one. So we'll let you know the dates so we can meet up with you.
Not this coming, but the next one, right?
The next one, yeah. Yeah, because
So
this October,
So 2025.
yeah, 2025. And then because this October I already have plans for Supercell East.
Supercell East, October?
Yeah, it's in West Virginia.
Oh, it's a different Supercell. Okay, never mind.
No, I'm
Supercell-
sorry, Overland East.
Oh, okay. That's why I was like,
Oh.
Supercell East. Maybe
Yeah.
Well,
I'm
because there's
going-
technically 2 Supercell Wests, right?
Yeah, Supercell. There's Supercell West, but this is Overland East. I'm going with Tri-State Overland Group.
So they've
But there's-
changed the names, just so y'all know. They don't call it Supercell East or Supercell West anymore on their website. It's Supercell Tennessee, Supercell Wisconsin, Supercell Colorado, and Supercell Nevada.
Huh.
So yeah, they don't even use East. Now, everybody still calls it East because that's what it always was for a long time. It's kind of like Willis Tower or Sears Tower versus Willis Tower.
Yeah, I can.
Well, Sears Tower get hit by lightning last night on our way home from the Sox game.
Nice. Yeah, I used to love those pictures from Barry Butler. He always took pictures of that stuff. But yeah, because I know that this coming October is Supercell Nevada. Supercell West, or what used to be Supercell West, Supercell Colorado, I've heard it's a good trail riding event, whereas some of the others are more like, set and show type events for the most part. But I heard Supercell West was a good, or Supercell Colorado. I keep saying West too. Supercell Colorado was where they did focus more on a lot of trails. So.
Yeah, so I just sent the link to Overland Expo East.
Nice.
Why won't it let me send it?
Not sure.
Yeah, there's the group I'm going with. There's a bunch of Toyota and Jeep guys. There's a couple of Broncos that will be going, but yeah, it won't let me post it. But Overland Expo, it's in Arlington, Virginia. Sorry, and that's October 4th through the 6th.
Is it the same ones that do Overland Expo West?
Yes. Have you been to that one?
Yeah, I hadn't even been here maybe a couple of weeks, and they had it. And it was actually really fun. It's probably the best event I've ever been to. That because I mean, every vendor you could think of was there. 74 Well was there. They had the Raptor. There was the portals, and
that's what I've heard. And the weekend pass for camping expo and everything, it's expensive. It's $300, but I had some friends that went last year, and they said just the amount of gear that was there, like the giveaways, the connections they made for their YouTube channels was really good. So, I'm going to make a little bit of an investment here and go check it out. But if you look at the site, it's pretty cool. They have a big ride and everything.
Yeah, I mean, the one here, I saw, that's something else I mentioned in my video review of it, is that if you got stuff that you're wanting to buy or that you're going to buy here soon, if they're there, the company, take some cash, or they can use cards, at least the ones I did, and get it because everybody has them on sale. So I got the Jet.
Everything's going to be on sale.
Yeah, I got the Jetboil. It was like $30, $40 off. I got some handheld rugged radios, and they had them on a special deal. Not only that, but you don't pay sales tax either.
Oh.
I'm all about not paying tax.
Yeah. So, I mean, it worked out pretty good. And you get all kinds of, like you said, well, I don't know about there, but out here is like every content creator you've ever seen is pretty much here from the West Coast. So, like Story Till Now, Expedition, Overland, all these TRD John, all these guys that that I kind of quote grew up watching before I started doing it myself. All those guys were out there, and it was nice to put actually see people in person. And most of them were very nice. The ones I talked to, I didn't talk to all of them, but
right.
Most of them were very, very nice. So it was a good fun experience. I think next year I'll probably just do like a longer time because this year I didn't have a PTO saved up. And I hadn't even been here maybe 3 weeks. So I just drove up to Flagstaff. It's like 2 hours and spent a whole Saturday. But I think next year I might even consider doing multiple days, maybe camping or something, or getting or something nearby there.
Yeah, my friends that went last year, they said it was just kind of a rainy mess because it rained, but then the season before it was fine. So I got a 50-50 chance that it's either going to be sunny or rainy.
Yeah.
That's just the East Coast. That's how it works out here. You know that. But I'm down for it. I think it's cool because you get to test your gear, right? You're like, do you have what it takes to spend a week in the rain and find ways to enjoy it? I mean, I think that's why I feel like I'm a little crazy with it because I'll do blizzard camping, which I absolutely love. If the weather is not good, I'm there. I like it.
Yeah. I think a couple of years ago they had it in Asheville, if I'm not mistaken, and it rained like the whole time, and a lot of people were upset. But that's part of it.
Yeah, and I can't wait for Courtney's and Evan's event. I think it's going to be awesome. Adding the camping this year is going to be, I think, is a nice touch. So I'm stoked to go that.
You're talking about Bronco Palooza.
Yeah,
there you go. So yeah, me and Evan talked about before you hopped on here. So I'm gonna be up there. I'll be flying in.
Are you?
Yeah, I look forward to seeing you up there. Yeah, I'm not driving. That's too far of a drive either way.
Yeah. What day are you flying in?
Probably Friday night and then fly back out Sunday. I won't have Miley here with me, so you won't get to see her again.
Yeah.
But yeah, the dogs will be here. I'll board them and fly
Who's
in.
Who's picking you up?
I don't know. I haven't looked into that yet. I've got a hotel reserved, so I'll see. I'll wait and see. I haven't booked my flight yet. I'm going to use my miles. I need to go ahead and do that. I was waiting for the dog boarding situation done. And
well, I mean, if you don't want a hotel and you want to tent camp it, I'll bring you some gear and I'll pick you up.
No, I'm good. I'm not roughing it.
Evan's going to have a tent. He's going to be out there.
Yeah.
Courtney will be in the hotel where you're staying.
I might come hang out with you all, and then
the event's 3 minutes from our house.
3 minutes, yeah, but you don't have to camp. You just go home to use the bathroom and then go back to your tent.
Yeah, I might come out and like eat some s'mores or something. Or
We're definitely got to go out there and set this tent up.
I mean, come on.
Or something. Courtney, I'll be in bed.
I think she said you're also high maintenance, Jody.
Yeah, should we cuddle up with the puppy at home while you're out there repping it?
Hey, when my kids drive me nuts, I just go sleep out in the driveway.
By the time you get here, Jody, this dog's going to be like 25 pounds.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. Yeah, they get big fast.
You gained 4.5 pounds in 10 days.
And that's your second one, right? You have 2 Great Danes, or?
No, we have a 11-year-old pit. And then this is our first Great Dane.
Okay.
But they're the same color. They look like they could be cousins.
I bet they look like they're related right now.
Yeah. Very similar.
Yeah.
The same markings on the paws.
Are you guys chasing any more trains between now and then?
Man, I don't know. So that engine that we chased on its way down to Mexico, like it came through here on its way to Mexico City from Canada. It's heading back. It's going to be in our neck of the woods this coming weekend, but I don't know if it's going to work out to go chase it or not.
So Evan, whenever y'all go to Stampede, you two need to go over to Dollywood and ride the train, the amusement park train that goes around the park.
So when we went to the summer before we got the Bronco, we did a huge East Coast road trip. We went from here. Obviously, we went down to the first stop was Chattanooga. But anyway, we were supposed to go to Dollywood. But so we went. We did a train ride in Chattanooga, and then we went to Gatlinburg, and we rented a side-by-side for the Smoky Mountains. And then leaving there, we were supposed to go to Dollywood, and then we were going to go to the Biltmore Estate. And we had a tire incident on my Tundra, and so we had to kind of alter our plans and make adjustments to get to our destination in North Carolina on time. But we were supposed to go to Dollywood, and we never made it. So I also owe her a trip there.
Oh wow.
It's fun. I mean, it's an amusement park, but it's not like just mainly geared towards kids. They have like crafts and cool, neat stuff from like back in the.
Somebody's done working for the evening.
Uh-oh. He's on some camera time too.
He just woke up.
Me alone. It's like I could not, if I wasn't on here, that I wouldn't see him. They'd be over laid out, camped out. But now that I'm on here, Witten's trying to lick my hand, and Miley keeps trying to play with toys or bite him. Like y'all can't.
Yeah, we just have like an unfinished basement. It's just kind of like my shop. I mean, you can see on this side the 3D printer, and then Val's treadmill. But we have a couch and stuff back there. So Frank he's back there somewhere.
I'm in my dining room right now. We put all that work into decorating that part of our bedroom into the podcast studio, and I moved all the lights that we had set up in there down to the garage to do YouTube stuff, and they're Courtney's big photography lights, and I'm just too lazy to carry them back upstairs. So I'm down in the dining room right now.
Yeah, the new garage setup looks nice, man. You guys did a good job.
So I messed up on the floor. I bought garage floor specific paint. It was expensive as shit.
Mm-hmm.
And it literally I let it dry as long as it said, and then we added like 12 hours to the dry time. Man, we pulled her Bronco in there the very first time, and I went to turn the wheel, and it peeled it right up off the floor.
Wrinkled it, yeah.
Yeah. So we got to grind it down, and I'm probably just going to do the real epoxy. That's going to be really expensive.
Mm-hmm.
All for the sake of YouTube.
Yeah. A lot of those floor paints and stuff like that, you can't use specific cleaners or soaps on them because it gets into the pores, and then when you pour that stuff, it doesn't dry out. So just be careful with that.
Well, so the guy that runs Automotive Solutions, he does garage floor epoxying as a secondary business. So,
oh, cool.
Sorry, he did his little shop, and it looks fantastic. And like, damn it, that's what I need.
Things we do for our fans.
Right.
My poor fans get to see this. But, I do a lot of my stuff outside. When I went to the rooftop tent and the awning, and when I was on 35s, with just the roof rack, I could clear. But as soon as I put the tent and the awning and the 37s, there's no way I'm getting that thing in the garage. So a lot of my stuff gets shot outside. The hard part about that, like today, I was trying to install the seats. I had to wait for a guy to stop pressure washing his house, and then someone will fire up their lawnmower, and it's like, geez, man, it's all about timing, and then half the day is almost gone. So
you guys on Instagram right now?
No, I just saw it on Facebook.
Did you see it, Milton?
No, I can't afford that stuff, so I don't look at it.
Well, supposedly, and I know Tyler. He's a nice guy, and he was done right by me. So supposedly these are going to be a cheaper option. I'm sure they're still going to be out of the range for a lot of people, but as far as portals go, from my understanding, is that when on their streaming that they did a month ago, I guess, they were talking about it, and they were saying that their goal was to try to make it more affordable compared to the Titleist ones that they sell, and also compared to the 74 Weld ones. Now, what does that exactly mean? I don't know. If they can get it down to $15,000, it might be an easier pill for some people to swallow,
especially on a firm.
Yeah, no kidding. Hey, I live and die by a firm. My build is sponsored by a firm, so I ain't.
Yeah, I mean, portals for a daily, I don't know. I don't like. We talk about the portals a lot at my buddy's off-road shop. He has portals on his side by side. He's actually running 37s on his side by side, and he just tears them up so much. I mean, and they're not cheap portals. And then I'm talking about tire wear and axles and everything else that you got to go through it. I mean, it's great if you're going to have another vehicle, but right now I'm in no way possible of getting a second vehicle. My wife's a stay-home mom, so I I got to be careful with what I got.
Yeah.
Well, it's not just the second vehicle; it's the second vehicle has to be able to tow
I know.
the Bronco. Because
Right.
as far as I know, what of the Broncos that are on portals, which one of them daily drive them across the country? All of them I see are loaded on a trailer.
I know.
I
Yeah.
will say this: Tyler at Super Soul East drove his, the little
From
one.
Texas?
But he drove it from Texas all the way there.
The
Yeah,
blue one?
Yeah, the blue.
No. Yeah, it's cactus gray, right? Or
Oh, it's
The
like
one he rolled with the armadillo top?
no.
Yeah. It had
No,
the black
no,
armadillo.
they have. So he has 3. He has
Yeah,
his
he's got
wife's
the
white
white
one,
one.
little sister, his sister's Bronco.
Yeah.
Then the one that they had the armadillo top was on 40s. That was the one they trailered. And then there's a younger guy that's part of their crew. He has one. That's the one they were driving because we went
What's
to
his
dinner with them.
Yeah. Now they had one of them there on portals because it.
Yeah.
I think
I
they're
remember
all
they
three
had-
running portals, aren't they?
Yeah, because I talked to Tyler before because I was talking to him about the whole Windrock ordeal, and he
Yeah.
told me that they had to do some stuff on the big one, the main one, and that he
Mhm.
would be driving, so he wasn't wanting to get too crazy with it as far as the Windrock. And I don't blame him. That's a long way to. It's a long ass tow bill. But yeah, he drove it, and I think it's the way they're designed. Like 74 Weld, the ones that they sell that for you to put on your Bronco is not the same ones they're putting on Lauren Healy's Rally 4 car either. I mean, they're
Well, no, like of the two Fun Haver Broncos, the long travel, the LT runner, the 4-door one, that one has the race portals on it, the same that they run on their Ultra 4 car.
Yeah.
The 2-door one that they totaled, that when the trailer flipped, that one had the street portals on it. So now their new one that he's got, that one has the street portals on it as well.
I didn't know they flipped a trailer. When did that happen?
What's too long?
That was like 6 months ago.
Oh, is that far? Okay. I remember seeing it, but I didn't. It's been a while. Yeah, it's been a few months, I guess.
Yeah,
I do remember seeing
the 2-door one and the was it it was so Vaughn's was the 2-door, right? And then Lauren had that gray 4-door that wasn't super decked out. That one was the Fun Haver test vehicle that he was making like the consumer parts for, and that one rolled, I think. They were
The
both
one
on
he
the trailer together.
I wonder if that was the same one that he started out with, because he started out with the Cactus Gray 4-door Badlands. That's what I saw him when I met them in Moab before Broncos were even being sold. A few months before they went on sale, he and Lauren were on Hill's Revenge, and his was very basic looking at the time.
Right.
It was the same one that he did the Rubicon with when he was with Light Bright, but he had modified it by then. But yeah, I don't know. That's pretty interesting. I do remember seeing something about that. And I was like, oh shit, But yeah, them guys have a lot of fun with theirs, that's for sure. But yeah, I mean, I'm like you. I mean, here's the thing with me, in my opinion, on portals. If I was starting over again, I'd probably give it more serious thought. If I was starting over again, base squatch, or since they don't sell base no more, big bend or whatever is the lowest package you can get all the cameras on. That's probably, if I wasn't going to go with Raptor, I would go with the lowest trim I could get the cameras on, and I would just do kind of what I did with this one. I either go portals, or because you got to think about it, all the shit that we've done to ours, if you add it all up, it's probably not much different than the price of portals. can't speak for everybody else, but
And do you have to run a special wheel with that portal that they're making for the street? I mean, when they first came out, they were running like some special wheel that was hubbed for that portal.
yeah, I'm assuming you'd have to have a specific offset or something for it.
Yeah, you just got to make sure your back spacing is correct.
Keep from hitting it whenever you're articulating.
Yeah, I mean, I think where I am with my Bronco today, as it sits in the driveway, like I'm really happy with it. Like, it's been an awesome vehicle. You know, every time you guys do something to yours, like the logic starts to go, man, do I really need that? Like, I want it. I want it. But I mean, I love this vehicle. This has like been the first vehicle that I hadn't wanted to sell in years. I mean, I've had 25 cars. I was blowing through cars. They were all modded, but like every time I think I want to trade my Bronco in, I'm like, you're just stupid. Like, that thing's awesome.
No, I hear you. Yeah, be mindful. People, I know that people in general, we're all very highly competitive by nature, but there's nothing wrong with having a good Bronco. Yours is a really good Bronco. You're very capable. You can pretty much do anything you want to do. And I'll be honest with you, even after spending as much money as I just did, which would probably make most people cry, almost makes me cry. I'm still not going to get to the point to where I'm going to risk, body damage. I mean, I'm not going to baby it. I'm not going to mile crawl it, but
yeah,
I'm still not going to be like, doing those trails that are pretty much almost guaranteed body damage.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Evan gets out here with, he's a bad influence. So, we'll see if that holds. But
I mean, just the articulation that I saw from the mods that you guys did. I mean, that's impressive. I mean, and let's talk about the scenario that I had Saturday, right? So if I had that little bit of travel, that little 4-inch extra of travel, would I have gotten to that tipping point? Because I still technically would have had rear wheels on the ground. So I mean, like, the mods you're doing are perfect for the type of terrains that you're wheeling on, and then pushing yourself to new limits. Obviously, like at some point I would love to do that, but what's great about having friends that have it in the group, you get to see what kind of changes you need to make. Yep. Are our trucks built similar? I mean, Evan's going to a rooftop tent. You've had awnings on yours before, but you do have the heavy gear because you have Roam cases on top. So your center of gravity is definitely different than a stock one. So it's just really cool to, be a part of a group like this, and then see your build, my build, and Evan's build, and how we all use them differently, but how we could, get similar things put on the Broncos where we're doing trails together, like what you guys are about ready to experience. I think you're going to see some cool outcome of that.
Yeah, there's no wrong way to build a build. If it's what you like. I'm a big
right.
That.
Yeah, because I don't know if you know Adam Larson, and John Carson is Central Kentucky Broncos, but Adam has joined our group. Both of those guys are running the full ADS suspension.
Yeah.
And I was behind Adam Saturday, and I was like, man, your Bronco is like really bucking when it's coming off. I was like, where do you have your rebound and compression set at? So it was cool because, we're allowing each other to analyze our rigs when we're wheeling. Like, hey, what are you seeing that I can change about mine? Is there a setting, is it like body rolling and then coming down? So he was open to that. It was cool. I mean, we were adjusting his rig, and then we went to the next trail, and we went to Pumpkin, and he's not bouncing going up ledges. It's it's absorbing and rebounding in the perfect amount of time. Like, so it was fun. I don't have that suspension, but I could notice, like, hey, you need to make an adjustment. That thing is really soft.
Well, and those are designed to be tuned, so you really do need to get, I mean, right out of the box, they might be fine. Like, oh, this feels great driving down the road, but you're going to tell that they haven't been tuned the minute you get them off the pavement.
Yeah, and Adam had different springs than John did because they're just two different builds. So the way that Adam's is shimmed compared to John's, you're not running the same compression. But it was just cool to see two rigs ahead of me set up differently, articulating and, taking different lines. And then as a spotter, Eric couldn't put me on the same line that John and Adam were taking because my suspension wasn't tuned for that line. So that's what I was telling him. I was like, hey, I need to go on this line because I can't make that line. My axle isn't going to drop far enough down to take that type of line. So you just learn, it's cool to experience that and watch, built rigs go out and do these harder lines. Obviously you want to do them too, but you gotta
know your limits. I mean, you gotta know.
Yeah.
Because that's when you end up in a situation where you're not so lucky.
Yeah.
Flip their stuff when they definitely shouldn't have because they either weren't paying attention or they just didn't know how to drive their rigs.
Yeah. I mean, we take a lot of stock Sasquatch people out with us, and we tell them like, here's your line. Yeah, you can watch John and Adam and myself and Eric take this line, but your rig is really just capable of this line. Like if you want to get to this type of line, here's what you need to get to at minimum. I mean, when I saw your rig for the first time at Supercell, I could see you on the highway. I was like, remember I texted you, I was like, hey, I just passed you. I mean, it just stands out. It's a big rig, it's awesome. That's when you were going to Windrock or back to your mom's house or something.
Yeah, I think it was going to Windrock. Yeah, because I was going. Where was I going? Hell, I
was going to Tennessee, and you were coming from it.
Yeah, I think I was because my mom lives in Morristown, so it's not close to there. But anyway.
But I haven't been on Windrock. I want to, but to be honest with you, I'm a little scared of it.
Not all of it's that bad. I mean, the trails that Tyler took us on were pretty, and Evan can vouch for this, they weren't that bad. I mean, yes, there's some off-camera moments, and there's some moments where you might need to turn your lockers on if it's wet, but it's not like everything's body damage, wrist, boulders everywhere. It's, there's a variety there. You just need to do your research. Go with somebody who's been before, maybe, or
right.
Just so you don't take one of the trail. Don't take the trail that Evan lost his tail light on.
Yeah.
Evan actually, before I went, because I was like, well, what if I break away from Tyler? So I picked Evan's brain on a lot of stuff just to say, hey, what are some trails that you think are must do's, and which ones should I stay the hell away from?
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, you watch like big channels like Flex Rocks and Rollovers. They're going on all that big gnarly stuff, and it's just I don't want to damage the stuff. I mean, I know some of the undercarriage. Like Saturday, I came home. I took a scrub brush completely to underneath the Bronco, cleaned the suspension, checked for damage. Re-greased my upper control arms because we did a lot of water crossings and a lot of thick, heavy water stuff. But your undercarriage is going to take some damage and some dents and dings, but I'd like to really keep it off of the body and break in hard parts.
Yep, exactly. Lockers before lights, right?
And I only have a rear locker, so I don't have a front one.
Is yours not a Sasquatch?
No.
Oh,
it's just a Big Ben mid package that I put a lift kit on and upper control arms and.
Did you go with locker, or did you go with air locker?
I have the upgraded locker option that Ford offered. I think it was a 427 upgrade locker for the 21. Yeah. So mine has a Big Ben mid package, and I did the upgrade rear locker. And then when 4Wheel Parts was doing that first suspension lift that they came out with, the VST coils. I put the VSTs on it with their upper control arms.
I didn't know Ford did that. That's something new for me. I didn't know they did that.
Mm-hmm. And then the really cool thing about these upper control arms is the coils are adjustable. So I bought a spanner wrench, and then I can raise them or lower them. And they've been great. I mean, I have 59,000 miles on them. I put them on the first week I had the Bronco, and but they're probably getting close to need to be rebuilt.
Yeah,
new oil and everything.
Oh, yeah, recharge them.
Yeah, but I kept all the stock suspension stuff, but it's like, how do you down the vehicle long enough to pull all of the suspension off? Because I don't have another vehicle. I mean, this is the challenge, the real challenge of overlanding and off-roading your daily rig, is the maintenance that you need to do. Like, how do you do a majority of it and get your car back?
Yeah, that's true. It's very true.
So I need to buy a beater car.
Yeah, a bunch of my Toyota buddies, that's what they did.
Buy beaters.
Yeah, that or just buy something simple to get back and forth to work.
Yeah.
I was going to buy a Maverick before I found out I was getting a divorce unexpectedly. I was at a Maverick order, and I was going to use that as my daily just so I could keep the wear and tear off my Bronco. And at some point, I probably will do something like it, whether it's a Maverick or not, it's a different story. But just to keep that daily grind off of it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry.
I've been looking at Facebook Market. I almost bought an 85 Bronco too. I want to do like a Baja style build as a daily. They make some sweet, Baja style fenders, and there's motor upgrades you can do to them that make them pretty sweet little rides. They don't look so ugly as they used to, but you can pick one of them up for like $5,500.
Awesome.
And then if I don't like it anymore, I can turn that into a trail rig, and go out and just beat the balls off of it.
Right.
So Evan and I were talking before the video about these Adams drive shafts. Ironically, they're out of Mesa, Arizona, which is on the other side of Phoenix from where I'm at. And I noticed, Eli Pizza Boy, he's one of the guys that wheel a lot with Trail Militia. If you watch their videos, he used to have I think it was either Domino's or one of the pizza signs on the top of his truck. It was always pretty funny, but he wheels it pretty hard. And, I don't know what the story is behind it, but he posted where he got the Adams drive shaft. So I got to look on the forums about them, because just to see if they're worth it. They're about, I think, $700 to $900. They don't have them listed on their website yet, but I did reach out to them, and if you tell them what you want, they can make it now.
Mm-hmm. Is yours vibrating from the pinion angle, or?
No, but that rock crawler kit, I haven't seen it with mine, and Evan hasn't seen it with his yet. But there was some posts on Bronco 6G to where if you have the passenger side tire up fully flexed, it supposedly steers the pinion or the drive shaft into the gas tank. Now, I know when Deutsch lifted mine for the pictures, as you can see right back here, it was the opposite. They lifted the driver's rear, which is kind of the same thing, I guess, but I don't know if it'll mimic that exactly. But when they test drove it, and they went out on the railroad, on this area near some railroad tracks that he told me about, where they can articulate it to see that he said it hit pretty hard the fuel tank skid. So it was RCI aftermarket fuel tank skid. So I posted some pictures on Instagram where you could see where they had to basically cut like the lip off there at the back. But some of the people were saying that the one thing about that kit is that some people are having to modify their exhaust because it's hitting the exhaust pipe. And then some people have had issues with clearance. I think they're rare. I don't think it's everybody. Because I got in there and looked to see if there was any signs of rubbing other than the skid plate where they sliced it at. I couldn't tell that it hit anything. And it may just be because of that old skid plate. That skid plate was one of the first ones that came out, and it's been on there for a couple of years. But yeah, I mean, that's just some of the things people talked about. I know that some people are also recommending the Rock Jock rear sway bar as well. But that, again, you have to use a custom exhaust, or I don't know if like my Flowmaster would work with it. Based on what their website's showing, I'm assuming it won't.
It won't. The only one that'll work with it is that AFE, because it splits the bar has to. It uses factory holes in the frame back there to mount the attachment brackets to where it connects to the frame, but the bar has to run exactly where your muffler is at.
Yeah.
So unless you have the AFE where it takes the one big piece and combines it into two small chambers with a hoop, that's what allows it. Literally, the muffler like saddles where that bar goes.
Mm.
So I've seen where other people have basically moved the muffler in front of the axle.
Yeah, I was thinking that option too. It's just you still have to get the pipe up and over the axle.
Yeah.
Well, you can put turndowns on it before it gets to the axle. You don't have
Well,
to.
mine is modified. I actually had Corey at Macintosh Motorsports. I was hitting mine. I got an MBRP exhaust, and I kept hitting it at the gorge on some of these bigger drop offs.
Yeah.
So we cut up my MBRP kit, and I had him re-weld it. So like I did a higher angled dump, and then he put like he had a tip off of an S10 exhaust laying around, and then we modified that so like it barely just clears the rear bumper where you don't get any drone. But I've had my exhaust completely modified because I was hitting it coming off of drops.
Yeah.
With that
What were you
turn
about
off road.
You were about to say something too, I think, wouldn't you?
Oh, I mean, yeah, it was basically the same. That my thought was putting the muffler in that empty space opposite, essentially, I mean, where the fuel tank is, but on the driver's side.
Right.
But just getting the AFE ordered up was just the easiest option at this point, and it was cheap. It's $300.
Yeah, I'm curious to hear what yours sounds like. If yours sounds really good, it might be the route I go. I was going to wait. Right now, to be honest with you, I don't really feel like I absolutely have to have the rear sway bar. I mean, it does. I can tell a difference in the way it drives. It does feel slightly different back there, but not nothing. I don't think that would be.
Did you eliminate your track bar?
Yeah, they took it off. Not only that, he cut the bracket off too.
Yeah, that's what we did on mine.
Yeah, I mean, there's no point in having it because you're not going to need it. But yeah, we took the track bar off, excuse me, completely. So, I mean, and of course, mine's a 21 like yours, so it doesn't have the sway bar from the factory.
Right. Well, and I don't have any front sway bar either.
Yeah. But yeah, I can tell a difference. Like when I hit, there's a bump right here after I pull out my complex, and I have to go hit the 101 loop. There's like a little bump that goes across the road, and it's kind of when you're hitting the on ramp, basically, it's kind of angled to where you're hitting it at a slight angle, and it's kind of like on Lakeshore Drive in Chicago. Every time I hit that one angled bump right there, right before you go into downtown, even the 4Runner and the Bronco, I could feel the ass end of it kind of kick to the side a little bit. And now I'm noticing that when I hit it, since having that put on, it doesn't kick to the side any, but you can still feel like the ass will bounce.
You feel the axle moving, but it's not shoving you to the one side.
Yeah, it's not like trying to, jump me over to one side or the other.
Right.
And that's only with the
route.
Is that just related to the 4-link suspension that you guys did, or is that okay?
Yeah, it's because of that triangulation and the removal of the track bar.
Yeah.
Because that track bar is what, it puts them. The shops I've talked to, I talked to Attitude up in Chicago before I left about it, and they were saying it's like those track bars tend to bind up the rear ends
a lot.
Yeah, that was his.
But the main thing is like the whole purpose of the track bar, because you have the uppers and lowers running parallel, right, front to back.
Right.
And when the rears can move up and down, they can also do this. And the track bar's job is to recenter it, right? But it's doing it after the fact. So that little jerk to the side is the track bar working to recenter the axle to the vehicle. With the triangulated set, it doesn't have the capability of shifting when it's flexing, so it just stays there. You don't feel that shift over. I mean, the very first day, so we finished wrapping up, having it put on a Saturday. We had something going on Sunday. Monday morning, we were driving down to the Badlands, and there's a stretch of railroad tracks that you hit, and man, like in her Bronco or like mine beforehand, you hit that bump, especially with no sway bar, and it feels like you're in is going to the passenger side into the cornfield, and not like it was just nice and smooth over. It's a crazy difference.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably the lower links are definitely something that I want to add. If I keep this rooftop 10 on here and keep camping the way that I am, I'd like to, you know, sure up some things in the rear end of the vehicle. Because definitely like climbing over big rocks, you feel that suspension bottoming out quicker because all the weight of the tent and awnings more towards the back. So it'd be really nice to have more tunability back there for that added weight.
So did they put stiffer springs in yours, Milton, or is it just whatever came with the kit?
No, I personally put bigger springs on it.
Yeah,
But not until I put all this extra weight on there. I ran that stock spring. It's just like a iBox spring.
yeah. I had to do mine, because most of them use like Radflows, Fox, and Kings. They all use iBox springs from what I've been told.
Yeah, Ibach and Bilstein springs are pretty popular everywhere. I mean, you know, you can find iBox on a lot of car suspensions that are stock. But, you know, obviously there's the different spring rates you could get for them and the different travel rates. But, I mean, my suspension can only travel so much with what I have. It's just a 2.5, you know, coilover.
Yeah, even I think the Icons use E-Box too, if I'm not
They
mistaken.
do.
Yeah, because I switched mine out too, because when I had that Ford Performance cargo box in the back, that thing, and especially because I had it loaded down with tools. Now that I have a garage, I don't have to do that, and it sits at a factory rake, which is what I wanted. I don't like having it completely flat, because anytime you put any weight back there, it gives it a sag. So
Yeah.
Light rake, and that way it gives me a little adjustability. That way, when we load up the camping gear and tools and such, it'll at the most it might make it more level than
Right. Well, that's why I sold that slide out kitchen that I had. It was just too much weight, and it was like constantly hitting the bump stops every time I'd come off of a big ledge. So I took that out, and then I dropped my coils down 2.5 inches. I got some rear rake back. It's a little stiffer on the highway, but it's perfect on the trail. So I'll take that little bit of stiffness daily driving it to work for what it does out on the trail.
I was going to say that's what she said, Evan. And he said,
The little one came over there. She finally came out of her dungeon to get some pizza, and the pizza's gone.
Uh-oh.
You're broadcasting to tens of people, Addie.
Tens of people.
Tens
So
of
everything to look forward to once the kids are, as they're aging out, they're going to be leaving the nest for college or whatever. That's going to open up more studio space for you guys.
Yeah. I don't know. That's all the second floor.
Yeah.
Well, you got some baseball stars, don't you? I mean, you got some superstar studs. I see you guys posting all the time.
Oh yeah.
Hey, my little boy went 2 for 3 in coach pitch the other day, and I was like, woohoo, you know? I was like, he's starting to show potential. I was a proud dad.
Give him the name, image, likeness money already.
Yeah, I'm already spending that Major League Baseball money he's gonna make me.
I don't have kids, but my college team won the World Series yesterday. So.
Yeah, I heard that.
All right, congrats, Julie.
Our baseball team, Mason High School, won state, so that was awesome to see Mason, Ohio win state. That's cool.
Awesome.
But guys, I'm gonna jump off here. I gotta get up early for work.
Agreed. I'm running on 4 hours of sleep from the Sox game last night too.
Yeah, you were up early today, texting. I was like, man, he's up early.
4:30 every morning.
Jeez.
All right, guys.
So everybody, if you haven't already, make sure you follow Bareback Broncos, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. Same thing with Adventures of Rogers and Henderson and Bird Dog Off Road. We'll be back in 2 weeks from tonight for another live stream. Thanks to our special guest, Milton, good
Thanks
friend
for
of
joining
ours.
us, man.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
All right, guys.
Good night, everybody.
All right. Have a good one, everybody. Thanks.